I've done tons of research to find out what you need to know before traveling to Barcelona. Barcelona is a beautiful city with stunning Gothic buildings, unique Gaudi architecture, gorgeous parks, and bustling nightlife. It's definitely something you wouldn't see anywhere else. And let's not forget about Barcelona's long-stretching beaches. Location and controversy. Barcelona is Spain's second largest city and is the capital of Catalonia, an autonomous region. It's located on Costa Brava and has direct access to the Mediterranean Sea. Spanish and Catalan are both official languages in the area. It's important to know that Catalan is a distinct language from Spanish and you probably won't be able to understand it if you speak Spanish. Also, while major information on signs is written in both languages, other less essential info might only be available in Catalan. Still, the vast majority of people speak Spanish as well. So what's the controversy about? Well, many Catalans want Catalonia to be an independent country. In fact, a relatively recent referendum in Catalonia created huge tension. So if you're traveling to Barcelona and speaking with locals, do your best to be sensitive about the subject. Also, stay informed about possible protests and try to avoid them. Let's move on to a more practical part. How can you get to Barcelona? There are quite a few cheap airlines in Europe that connect Barcelona with many other European cities. Barcelona's main airport is called Barcelona El Prat. Can you arrive in Barcelona by train? If you live in France, yes. 3 direct high-speed rail routes connect Barcelona with Paris, Lyon, and Marseille. You'll have to switch trains to arrive in Barcelona if you're from other countries. That being said, Barcelona is well connected with other major cities in Spain. Barcelona Sants station is the city's main railway station, and most trains departing and arriving in Barcelona stop there. When is the best time to visit Barcelona? Luckily, Barcelona has great weather all year round. Temperatures in the winter average at 15 Celsius during the day and 9 degrees Celsius at night. Summers aren't incredibly hot either due to the proximity of the Mediterranean Sea, so it's up to you. If you want to also bathe in the Mediterranean Sea, you should definitely visit in the summer or early to middle autumn. But if you prefer cooler weather or want to save money, you should come in the spring, late autumn, or even winter. When choosing between spring and autumn, remember that it typically rains more during autumn. And of course, if you want to avoid the crowds, it's best to visit during the week. When should you book your hotel? Since Barcelona is a super popular destination, you should book your hotel at least 6 months before your stay. That way, you'll have plenty of choices. For the rest of the year, finding somewhere to stay 3 months before visiting is best. But wait, how many days do you actually need to properly visit Barcelona? I would say 3 to 4 days would be ideal for visiting Barcelona's main attractions and having time to feel the city's vibe by simply walking around and enjoying a sangria. But if you want to also visit smaller tourist attractions or take a day trip, 4 to 5 days would be the perfect amount of time. However, if you can only stay for 2 days, that's enough for seeing Sagrada Familia and at least one other Gaudi building. Where are the main touristic attractions located? Many must-see places like Plaça de Catalunya, Casa Batlló, Cathedral of Barcelona, and Picasso Museum are located close to the Gothic Quarter or Body Gothic. However, the top attractions in Barcelona, Sagrada Familia and Park Güell, are further away but accessible by public transportation. What's the currency used in Barcelona? In Barcelona, just like in the rest of Spain, you can only pay in euros. Can you pay by card in Barcelona? You can pay by card almost everywhere. Even the smallest shop will most likely accept payment by card. In restaurants, you can include the tip in the receipt when paying by card. Still, it's a good idea to bring some cash with you just in case. Is American Express accepted in Barcelona? Only a few places accept American Express. Barcelona's most commonly accepted cards are Visa, MasterCard, and Maestro. Most shops and restaurants display stickers indicating which cards and apps they accept. Is Barcelona safe? For the most part, Barcelona is a very safe city. Violent crimes are all very rare. That being said, you should avoid certain areas at night. Las Ramblas Street, the El Raval neighborhood, especially the area closer to the port, the Gothic Quarter, and the El Born neighborhood can be pretty shady. If you wander there at night, you'll probably stumble across drug dealers and prostitutes. Also, be aware of your belongings whenever you visit during the day. Many thefts and scams are happening in Barcelona, especially in El Raval and Las Ramblas. Leave any expensive jewelry in your hotel, don't count cash in the street, and keep your eyes on your belongings. Additionally, be very wary of strangers approaching you, even if they seem like they want to help. For example, in Park Güell, there's a popular bird poop scam going around, as explained on the screen. Is Barcelona safe for solo female travelers? If you're a female, it's best to take extra caution and avoid walking alone late at night. But overall, Barcelona is safe for solo women as well. Okay, so now that you arrived in Barcelona, what are the best areas to stay in? It depends. The Gothic Quarter is the most convenient place to stay, as it's close to many touristic attractions and well connected to the public transportation system. However, it's typically more expensive than other areas and not as safe. Plus, some parts of the neighborhood are dirty with quite a lot of garbage. As mentioned, some parts of El Raval, El Bord and Las Ramblas can be pretty shady, so it's best to avoid them. Overall, the El Raval neighborhood seems to be the most dangerous one and the only one where you're at risk of violent assault according to locals. But if you want to be mindful of money and stay in a safe and accessible area, there are other options. You can choose to stay in Gracia, Sant Antoni, and the old left of the Eixample. They seem to be safe areas. There are still other areas to avoid and others you can stay in, but I'll make a separate video about where to stay in Barcelona. Is Barcelona expensive? While Barcelona is more expensive than other Spanish cities, it's still quite affordable. Barcelona has many hostels that offer accommodation at around 20 euros, while mid-range hotels charge about 100 euros for a double room. Prices are slightly higher if you visit in the summer. When talking about food, you can get a large plate of tapas for 5 to 7 euros, a nice 3-course dinner for 2 between 40 and 50 euros, and a menu of the day will cost about 15 euros per person. Of course, you can also eat cheap bites from markets or bakery shops for far less. And be aware of tourist traps. It's always a good idea to avoid the restaurants closest to the main attractions. How can you get around in Barcelona? The cheapest way to move around in Barcelona is by using the city's extensive public transportation system. There are 8 lines of metro and 100 bus routes, plus trams. There's also the hop-in, hop-out bus service available. There are many taxis in the city and the official app is called Cabify, but Uber is also available. Don't be surprised though if your Uber looks like a taxi. So how much can you expect to pay in Barcelona for transportation? I'll make a separate video on the topic, so be sure to subscribe. Do people speak English in Barcelona? Many young people and people in the tourist industry speak English in Barcelona, at least at a conversational level. Taxi drivers, as well as the older generation, generally do not speak much English. You'll most likely get by if you know English, but I still advise you to download the Google Translate app. What are the main store chains in Barcelona? Plenty of Lidl, Aldi, Mercadona and Carrefour stores can be found throughout the city. This Carrefour Express in Las Ramblas is particularly large. Traditional markets are also worth visiting as products can be cheaper there. We all heard about the siesta. Does that also apply to restaurants, supermarkets and tourist attractions? Some restaurants close in the afternoon, especially those further away from tourist attractions. Keep in mind that some eating places are only open in the morning, while others are only open in the afternoon or evenings. If you get hungry later, you can find places that serve food until 12 or 1 am. Supermarkets, however, don't close in the afternoon and are open until 9 or 11 pm. Tourist attractions don't close for siesta as well. Hi, my name is Lore, and if you want to travel smart and hard while saving money, this channel is all about that. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And now you can watch this video to learn everything about the best and worst areas to stay in Barcelona, or this one to discover the best tips to save money when visiting Barcelona.